Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wrapped up my unboxing of the Pythia Botanical Oracle. I pre-ordered this deck back in May and I finally just got it, so I'm really excited to talk a little bit about this deck today. I am including it in my October deck picks. As you could tell from the title, that is what we're talking about today. And I'm super excited for October. This is typically my favorite time of the year. Halloween is my favorite holiday, and this month I have two intentions, and that is to continue working with Mushroom Spirit. I mentioned on the channel quite a few months back that I was having a lot of encounters with mushrooms. I was seeing them everywhere, and I was feeling mushroom come through as a spirit guide. If you're new to the channel, I do practice a form of magic that is considered, I think it's considered a form of magic. It's called plant spirit magic, or you might know it as plant spirit witchcraft, where, at least in my experience with my practice, I've noticed that a lot of plants will come forward as spirit guides, similarly to how some people will experience animal spirits. I also have encounters with those, but it's a lot less frequent. I do have quite a substantial practice with plant spirits, and I was very excited to finally receive this deck in the mail. There was a period of time where I was seriously doubting if I would ever receive it because the delivery date just kept getting pushed back. I think I was originally anticipating receiving this deck in June, and then it just kept getting pushed back until now. So I'm very excited and eager to start working with this deck. It will be on today's list, and oh my goodness, I am very, very chatty today. I completely forgot the other goal I had for this month was to connect with that childlike excitement for Halloween. In the past, like I said, Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. Halloween is the first, and then it's Christmas or Yule is my second. I really enjoy those times of the year. I like how it happens to bring people together, at least in my experience. You know, I'm sorry if that hasn't been your experience. I, however, really enjoy Halloween. It was one of my favorite times of the year growing up as well. I have a lot of really happy childhood memories with respects to Halloween. My sister always made it a lot of fun. I'm lucky enough to have a very loving older sister, and she's got some very strong Venus placements. She's actually ruled by Venus, even though she's a Leo. So she loves to decorate, and she made Halloween so much fun for me growing up. She's 5 years older as well, so so she was working pretty young, so she was able to afford Halloween costumes and Halloween decorations. A lot easier than it was for my mother. We struggled a lot financially growing up. But it's one of the things that I really do look back on with fond memories, with happiness, is Halloween growing up was a lot of fun because of the top of my cup just fell off. Because my sister was, she just made Halloween a lot of fun. Anyways, let's get straight into the deck list. I have the Lost Oracle on the list again to work with this month. Sorry, the deck is a bit wet. And I want to continue working with this deck this month because I've been really enjoying working with this deck alongside the Midnight Magic Tarot. And because I want to continue working alongside Mushroom Spirit, I want to continue working with these two decks. This deck, I feel like it just accesses the ancient wisdom of Mushroom very well. I've mentioned on the channel in the past that this deck, to me, it really embodies the cave archetype as well as the crone and the Samhain Sabbath, which is really quickly approaching. I'm very excited. So I love working with this deck around this time of the year, and it's very witchy, and I love this vibe. But again, my intention is to work with Mushroom Spirit with this deck. I also find that it clarifies the Midnight Magic tarot really well, which is next on the list since I've already been speaking about it. I'll talk about it now. So again, this is another carryover from last month. I just got some ritual oil on it. Don't mind that. It's just oil. But I've been really enjoying connecting with this deck alongside Mushroom Spirit. I notice when I read the guidebook, which I have made a commitment to for this month of October, to read the guidebook daily, as well as the guidebook of the Lost Oracle. But I notice when I read the guidebook for this deck, I'm more drawn to learning about the mushroom itself as opposed to the divinatory message. I'm trying to gain as much information about mushrooms as possible. I also love the color palette of this deck. Again, this is the Midnight Magic deck. I call it Midnight Mushroom deck. Sorry if I did that and I didn't notice. The deck that I just unboxed, the Pythia Botanical deck, I have the intention of working with it this month as well. I do feel like we are going to be doing more of a focus on plant spirit work than previous months. I'm wondering why. Maybe because the veil is so thin at this point in time that, and it's gonna get thinner and thinner. It's easier for the plant spirits to come through. I do feel that it came to me at this time for a reason though. I haven't worked with the deck yet, but I do really enjoy the imagery. I love the simplicity of the imagery and I like the keywords. And I'm really curious to see what kind of a personality this deck has and how it's going to like to be read. I do think that this deck is going to be a great clarifier. Just a general clarifier. I feel like it has enough diversity in its keywords where you can use it in a lot of different types of readings. You might find this video to be quite deck heavy. It's definitely going to be one of the heavier decks or heavier deck lists where there's a lot more decks included in today's video because this is one of my favorite times of the year. I pulled out the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle and I'm very much so considering picking up the Mabon Oracle because again, I really want to connect with that childlike excitement about Halloween. And I'm torn between Mabon and the Halloween, I think, Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Although that one seems a bit darker. I feel like you can include that in a shadow work practice, which I'm not really trying to do. I'm trying to connect with that childlike excitement. So I feel like Mabon might be a bit better in that regard. Anyway, this deck is quite dark in my opinion. It's all about the descent into the underworld. I've really enjoyed working with this deck for strong release rituals in the past. This is actually probably one of my favorite decks to include in any kind of ritual work. It also has this lusty Samhain energy to it, and it definitely works well to remind you of just really spending the time, just enjoying the moment as things are about to change. This is going to be our last kind of Sabbath before Yule, before the winter. So I do get a strong energy of that with this deck as well. Again, this is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. This is actually my favorite out of the entire series. I pulled the Green Witches Oracle deck out. So this was created by the same creator as the Midnight Magic. And I haven't worked with the two decks together yet, but I'm kind of curious about working with them together. Anyway, this deck has an excellent fall, autumn energy to it. It has an excellent color story as well that aligns really well with the autumn. So I pulled it out because I thought that it would work really well with this time of the year, and like well into November too. I love the mushrooms. The wildlife depicted. It's been a long time since I've worked with this deck as well. I used to work with this deck with the Witch Sister Tarot. So I pulled it out to also attempt to reconnect with this deck. From what I remember in the past working with this deck, it was a great clarifier, general purpose deck. So I'm eager and excited to reconnect with this deck throughout the month of October. Again, this deck is called the Green Witches Oracle deck. It has cute imagery, as you could tell, very beautiful. The artist is very talented. I can't remember, did I talk about the Viola Luxe Umbra, guys? If I did, I will edit this part out of the video. I love, this is an independently produced deck, same creator as the Pythia Botanical Oracle. They're created by Layla and Olive, or Layla Olive. You can purchase it on their website, but this is such a beautiful deck. I purchased the Pythia Rosa Tarot and this one, and I thought that I'd like the Pythia Rosa more, but I actually like this one. I prefer this one. This deck has a very gentle, graceful, delicate energy to it. Of course, I like to focus on my plant spirit practice with this deck, and as I shared a little bit earlier in the video, I do feel that that is something that I'm going to get the opportunity to explore this month. I love this imagery. I think this deck is very beautiful to look at. Again, this is the Viola Luxe Umbra. Next up, I have the Alchemist's Oracle. This is mass produced. It was created by Blue Angel. I absolutely love this deck. It's very cute. It's all depictions of different potions. And I did include this in a weekly practice a few months back. I've since gotten out of that practice, but I do want to work with this deck throughout the month of October as part of a daily draw to clarify tarot and anchor my readings. I think this is a really fun deck to connect with Halloween, potions. It's a lot of fun. I love this deck. I love the artwork. I think this deck is so creative and cute. And I think this is going to really help me tap into that childlike excitement that I'm trying to connect with throughout this month. Connect with my inner child. It's really beautiful, as you can tell. I'm going to try to be fast, but, you know, clear and concise, because I do have quite a lot of decks here to share. Next up, I have the Trick or Treat Tarot. I love this deck, not last year, but the year before. I used it, I think, all throughout the month of October as part of my daily draw experience. I didn't work with this deck last year. I don't think the focus was on really connecting and exploring that inner child aspect, or that childlike excitement that I'm really trying to tap into for Halloween. This deck, it just really, it embodies that excitement. It embodies that enjoyment. I mean, even adults enjoy Halloween. There's something so fun about getting dressed up and seeing everybody's house in the neighborhood decorated, and all the different jack-o'-lanterns. I would go so crazy over the years, especially when I was younger. I've made bats, I've made Jack Skellington, I've done all sorts of different jack-o'-lanterns. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do this year. Typically I just get Amelia to draw on a pumpkin and then I'll carve something out of it, but we shall see this year. But that's another practice that since I moved very close to my older sister and her family. So the past couple of years, I think without last year, I've actually gotten together with her and her family. We've carved pumpkins together. So I'm kind of curious to see if we do that again this year. But I do really enjoy this deck. It just really reminds me why I love Halloween. I love all the different Halloween costumes. I've enjoyed even working with this deck in the past for shadow work, because the Halloween costumes make this deck very versatile. Or you can be very shallow and superficial with it and just enjoy the kitschy. But I really want to connect with this deck to really invite a sense of play again. So again, this is the Trick or Treat Tarot. This is a Llewellyn deck, so it's mass produced. I'm probably not going to work with all these decks. I just have way too many, but that's the fun of these videos. It's interesting to see which decks you do end up gravitating towards. I pulled out the Horror Tarot. This is an Insight Editions publication. It was created by, or at least artwork wise, it was illustrated by Abigail Larson. And I recently actually was scrolling on Instagram, and I follow a lot of other tarot accounts, and I'm pretty sure I saw somebody had paired the Darkwood Tarot with this deck, and it's been so many years since I've done that, and I was like, I have to do that. But I absolutely love this deck. This is a more shadow work focused deck, but I'm going to try to work with this deck in more of a playful folk horror, I guess, kind of way, to explore different mythologies. And I love that there's like a Doula, a werewolf, there's zombies. I love all the different creatures depicted throughout this deck. It's a very fun deck, but again, this deck reads very shadow work to me. It's a great clarifier, and it gets straight to the point. It doesn't like waste time. It just it's like, here it is. Here's everything that's going on. But it's a lot of fun to also look at the imagery, and I do really enjoy the imagery. It's very gothic. There's a lot of different creatures depicted throughout mythology and folklore. Again, this is the Horror Tarot. This is mass produced. I pulled out the Death Doula Oracle. I like to work with this deck for journaling. I think it would do really well with the Samhain, Sabbath, with autumn, this time of the year, Halloween. I do think that this is going to be a great addition to my journaling practice throughout the month of October. Right now I'm journaling with the Lost Oracle, and I've been using the Midnight Magic Tarot deck for my daily draws. But I might swap this out eventually for the Death Doula Oracle again. This is a more relatively new deck in my collection. I purchased it back in the summer, I think around July, but I just recently received the deck, as I've shared on the channel. The courier lost the original package, and the creators were kind enough to send me out another one. And they used a different courier, which I'm very thankful for. I was thinking that I was never going to receive this deck. But I did purchase this deck with my own funds. It is a very, as you can tell, it's very beautiful, the images. It's like a photography base deck. I love to work with this deck with my Femme Fatale Tarot or my photography focus decks. So this is an independently produced deck, by the way. Lastly, I pulled the Woodland Wardens deck out. I haven't worked with this deck that much throughout the month, the past couple of months during autumn, which is, this is a very, it has a sepia autumn color palette to it that I really greatly enjoy around this time of the year. But again, I haven't really been pulling this deck out. I've been working with other decks instead. So I am hoping to work with it this month to connect with that autumn energy. It is very beautiful. This is a mass produced. It was created by Jessica Rowe, which I believe she's actually got a tarot deck coming out shortly, which I'm curious about. I don't think I'm gonna get it because the figures in the cards look, they're animals, but they're doing people things, if you know what I mean. I don't really like that. I like animals to look like animals, but let me know in the comment section below if you know what I'm talking about and if you are interested in that deck as well. So again, this is called the Woodland Wardens Oracle deck. It's so cute. And it has both plant spirit and animal spirit energy to it, because there's both plants and animals depicted in the artwork. It's really beautiful. Although for me, at least in my opinion, I noticed the guidebook doesn't really work for me. So I ditched the guidebook and I just really work with this deck intuitively for the most part. Anyways, this was a very chatty video, wasn't it? And it was very deck heavy. Again, this is my favorite time of the year. I'm most likely not going to work with all of these decks, although you never know. Last month was like very deck heavy. I worked with a lot of decks last month, but this month I'm really excited to reconnect with the Trick or Treat Tarot, of course, and get to know the new Oracle deck that I mentioned today, the Pythia Botanical Oracle. And of course, I absolutely love the Viola Luxe Umbra. So we'll see what decks I end up working with. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so rambly. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the rambles and the chit chat. I'm really excited and eager to know what you guys are planning on working with this month, throughout the month of October, and what your goals are this month. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm always very excited to read your comments, and sometimes you guys bring up some really interesting ideas and points. So I'm very excited to read all your comments in the comment section. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.